My name is Maggie Sampson, or Margreth Sampson. I'm the Managing Director for African Zoom Adventure Tours. Dealing with tourism and non-tourism activity. Is a sustainable company. We believe that we can do all the ethics of the company. The company was established in 2011 with operations and offices based in Arusha. Our main office is here. And we've been dealing a lot with safaris, mountain climbing, and beach extensions, with liaison offices in South Africa, America, and here. Before I started African Zoom Adventures, my main target was to be more in tourism, more into the field. And that's why I ended up working for a company here in Arusha. The first company was Unique Safari Tracking and Tours. It was a kind of a company that dealt with a lot with field work. So at some point I was also camping, I was also a camp driver, and I was also learning a lot of wildlife while I was on the field. And then after that, I joined Shades of Africa, which is now called it's called Albatross Travel. It's also based in Arusha, but it's also run by a Dutch company in Denmark. I worked for them for 11 years, and my main target was also dealing with a lot of camping, hiking, treks. And this is something that was built in me. I always wished in my life that I would keep on doing what loves best. I'm a nature person. I love the field. I like exploring. And this is where I am right now. What actually sparked the initial for African Zoom? I was trying to look at a wider picture. By then, my ideas was, I had several names that came in, and I had several ideas in my mind, but all of them trying to match with the reality where I am and what I'm doing and what's my inspiration, what my goals are. Then African Zoom came into my mind. And the reason was actually Zoom Africa. But I said, why would I do Zoom Africa? I thought I should do African Zoom. So people would Zoom Africa after looking at it. And where in Africa? Everywhere in Africa. So that was my main issue. It's like exposing my way I'm coming from. It's the field where I am. So I was so eager to have people know more about what we do. What is Africa? Because a lot of people didn't know what Africa was. So with that trend of the amount of work that I've done with other companies, this came into me. I said, okay, why don't I do African Zoom? So the word came in, just like that. So I went to Umbrella and tried to search it, and I found out there was no name like that. So that was like me who started African Zoom. Yeah, especially when capital was an issue. That was the main challenge, but I had ideas. When I started coming up with so many ideas, I had to look for people who had companies. So I met this man. He's older. He runs his own company. Him and his wife. I sat down with them. I gave them my idea. And I said, I don't know where to start. And they said, first of all, you need to have a memorandum out of association. And where do I get that memorandum? How do I handle the memorandum? And he said, I could get someone who would come and speak to you, get your ideas and put it in a paper. So that's where it started. So he found me someone whom I could sit with, and I will give him my ideas. And it was very easy. Within 1 week, my memorandum was done. The only thing that I changed were their capital shares, because if you put low shares and if your determination is for the company to grow, that means you have to go and change your memorandum again. So we started with memorandum of association. So it was done within 1 week. And that's when it was done, I paid for it, and he registered it at Rubella. And I got the certificate of registration. I was determined. I'm a person that never, ever fail in challenges. I'll take the challenges, sit down with it, and I normally don't sit by myself. I would follow someone who I think they have a great idea, and to see how I can overcome this. So I had a friend. She was very determined like I am. And she told me, because you've decided to get into this, then you need to work hard. So I told her that my vision was, I would like my company to come in differently, more differently from what the other companies I've worked for. I know we're doing the same business, but on different angles. What am I focusing on? So I shared with her and said, I'll be more on an adventure part. I want to be more of a hiking person, more of a camping person, more of a nature person. So, and that came, and the minute when I started sharing my ideas, then I started having my friends wanted me to take them on a safari. And that's where I started overcoming these small challenges. Like I would get groups, I'll send them on safari, I'll get some money. So it was like a database, to build up a database of what I want to move from there. For the past almost 15 years that I've run this company, there's a lot of changes that have happened. From the thinking perspective, from the work perspective, and everything. I mean, I'm talking about everything has changed. And you know, with tourism industry, you flow with what you see. Every day, every hour, there's something changing on the industry. I remember the first time when I started this, the most expensive safari was like $1,500 per person. But the same safari now, it could cost like $4,000 to $5,000. So a lot of things are changing. So from that time to this time, I've changed because I've been more matured. I've put a place in a company that people know what they're supposed to be doing. I put up a system that everyone knows exactly what they need to do. Because if I fail or if we fail, that means the company will not be there. So I've seen the company growing day by day. I started with only 16 clients a year. Now I'm talking almost 600 and something, 640 clients a year. So that I would call it's a growth. And because people have started believing in us, people working with us, and every time we come back with so many reviews because they're looking at what we did and what we delivered. And that's how I see the company growing. From what we used to have like a single client or a friend who coming, but now we are dealing with partners, you know, a partner in business that is going to supply you with something. You have even private clients coming to you. That means we build a growth. And that growth comes in with someone has trusted us in this business. I believe in any growth of anything, we do encounter a lot of obstacles. They can be internal, they can be external obstacles. But the only thing I always say, even my staff, I always tell them, you should never ever give up. These are challenges like any other challenges, and it will pass like any other day. So what we need to do is focus. We have our targets, we need to focus, and that's what we have to look for. So they're obstacles that need really help. But when we are together, we can always overcome them. And this is only depending on who you're working with, what kind of team you have, and what kind of team you can depend. If you don't have a proper team, sure, these obstacles will bring you down. But for all this time I've been with this stuff, and some who have left me already, but through bad and worse and through happy hours, people have stood up and they know exactly what we need to do. And I thank them for that. Part of the toughest decisions I had to make is to let some of the staff leave the office. And it was a point that it was very sad, but I had no other options but just to make them leave, because we came into a crisis, and this crisis had only few options that I could only solve. It's by skimming down this stuff and remaining with what I think will be the most needed people in a certain areas. So as of now, we have people doing 2 to 3 jobs in the office because we're trying to recuperate from whatever crisis we had. So yes, crises are there, and crises will always be there as long as you're in the living world and you need to struggle. But those are the decisions, by letting at least half of my staff leave. That was the toughest decision. The qualities. What I look at is someone who is committed. In this business, you need to have people who are committed. They're ready to work an extra mile. They're ready to cover in whatever circumstances arise. So these are the quality of people that I would like to work with. I have some, but I know when the company is growing, you sure need to bring some more people in. And this is the reason why I will be looking, but not now. But I have an intention of having quality people, more quality people join the team. And it's not that we don't have applications, we have every single day people want to work with us. So these are the things that I'm going to look at. Is to be patient. Be patient, be constructive, and wait. Patience pays. You don't need to eager yourself. If you can't meet the target, just cool down, go back, and restart it again. That's what I've believed in me. And all this journey, I've always been patient. I work hard, and I believe that someday I'll be somewhere. Since I'm a very active person and I'm always into new ideas, I love adventure. As I said, I love adventure. So climbing mountains, doing outside activities, but always I skip and put my laptop with me. So I'm working with my office. Unless I'm on the mountain, that's when I know there's a team behind, then I leave everything placed in order. So I know I'm going on the mountain probably for a week or 8 days, but when I come back, I can still catch up with whatever I've left behind. So balancing my work time and my activities, it is always my priority, because during work, I really concentrate on my work. And if I have to do something else, then they know. And I always give a schedule. I just don't wake up in the morning and say, I'm going on a mountain. I'll inform this team that from this day, I'll be out. So they know exactly if there is anything that I need to attention on, they'll bring it to my table and I'll work on it, and then I'll leave everyone in peace. So this way, if you have everything in program, you don't need to worry about it. So I can still balance my time. With me, I need, as being the CEO of the company, we have working hours. And if it's time for work, it's for work. And if it's time for life, then it's life. Because we have set the working hours from the office. So during work, I work. And after work, I do my other activities. So I will never mix my life and activities and work together. These are the two separate ends that I have to meet. So I'm very strict. I want to be in the office, and during my office time, I work. And after my office time, then that's another issue. African Zoom, I see it as a product of hardship, commitment, and future expectations. African Zoom today is not what African Zoom was 10 years ago. There's a lot of changes, a lot of inventions, a lot of commitments, a lot of excitements, to be honest. African Zoom is looking at to prosper more from where we are. And we're still looking at the tunnel, where the tunnel ends. So we're still finding the light. So there's still some work to do, but I'm proud where the company is at the moment, because it has its solid grounds, it has its plans, and the future holds is brighter. At the moment, I would say we have big opportunities, but what we need to do is just to press the right button. There's a lot of brightness ahead of us, and we actually working hard to reach that point. The challenges will always come, and that's why we see the light, but there's a challenge in between. But we are working on it. We're strong than before. I'm seeing the company growing much bigger from where we are. The company has projections, not only on the tourist base, but projection on how to make it more attracted throughout our cycles. Because we're in an event where we need a support from everyone surrounding us, from inside and outside. So with that, we've started having a lot of cooperation. So I believe in 5 to 10 years, African Zoom won't be the same as what it is today, because there are a lot of plans on the pipeline. We're trying to see a bigger picture out of the circle, and we hope if we're given the chance, we're going to prove wonders. That's what I believe. I have only one advice. If I was then, what would I have done? Is I would have been more open to many things, asking questions, and getting to know better. Because some of the things you learn along the journey, but most of the major things you miss out if you don't get the proper channel for people to advise you exactly what you need to do and where you need to stand. You can bring in very good ideas, but how to implement them, how to have them implemented, that is another issue. So I would always, if I was given the chance, probably 10, 15 years ago, but now I know what I would have done. Then that means I would have stayed behind, try and learn more into what I'm supposed to be doing in order for me to move on the right way. Because the beginning, normally you don't know anything, or probably you know a few, but you keep on learning on the journey in those years. But these years you can't do that. You can't just wake up in the morning and say, I'm opening to a company and this is what I'm going to do. First of all, the markets are very, very wide open, but getting someone to trust, especially with this color, we have an issue. So you need to do a lot to work and to be whoever you want to be. It's been a pleasure to be where I am at the moment and the company. On behalf of the team, the entire team of African Zoom Adventure Tours, I would like to say thank you very much, because from where we were and from where we are and from where we're looking at, it's more brighter. So I would say, we plan, you travel. You're most welcome. Karibu sana.